Morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to talk about the clinical attachment abroad during surgical training. Is it worth it? And first of all, I would like to thank the Japanese Society of Pediatric Surgeons and Professor Tatsuo Kuroda for inviting me to give a talk in this meeting. I'm very grateful and very honored. Thank you very much. This is a photo of the Professor Kuroda 2 years ago in Thailand during his visit to the annual meeting of Thai pediatric surgeons organized by the Royal College of Surgeons of Thailand. And this is myself. I have nothing to disclose. So I would like to divide my talks into 4 sections. Firstly, the overview of pediatric surgical training in Thailand. And secondly, the clinical attachment abroad during surgical training. And thirdly, what else can be done during the COVID pandemic. And finally, how to be a clinical observer in Thailand. I would like to begin with the overview of the pediatric surgical training in Thailand. In Thailand, there are at the moment 154 certified active pediatric surgeons taking care of population of 70 million people and pediatric population of 12 millions and live births of 700,000 per year. There are 2 ways to become a pediatric surgeon in Thailand. First is a 4-year program, consists of 1 year of general surgery training, followed by 3 years of pediatric surgery training. And second, it's a 6-year program, consists of 4 years of general surgery and followed by 2 years of pediatric surgery training. All over the country, there are 7 certified training centers and 14 new residency positions per year. The training program has been approved by the Royal College of Surgeons of Thailand. And this is to show you the minimal requirements for entering the final exam or the board exam for pediatric surgery after the training is complete. The candidates must pass the basic science exam and in-training annual exams, as well as advanced trauma life support and pediatric advanced life support courses. And there are monthly evaluation on attitude and responsibility of the residents, evaluation of the logbook, of the types and the number of the operations. Every resident has to finish 1 research project and presentation before going to the board exam. And there is a surgical skill evaluation for index cases. For example, like a PSAP or surgery for Hirschsprung disease. And this is to show you the types of the operation that must be performed under supervision before the final exam in the portfolio. For example, surgery for esophageal atresia, repair of diaphragmatic hernia, Kasai operation, the Wilms tumor removal, and repair of hypospadias. And these are the types of the operation that must be performed without supervision before the final exam. For example, the pull-through for Hirschsprung disease, diagnostic laparoscopy, LATS operation, and repair of abdominal wall defect, including gastroschisis and omphalocele. On the board exam for pediatric surgery, it's a 2-day exam. On day 1, it's going to be 150 multiple choice questions together with 8 essay writing questions. And if they can pass the exam on the first day, they can go to the oral exam on the second day. And this photo is the photo of the candidates and examiners taken after the final exam. You can see everyone smiling. And during the final year of training, 1 to 2 months are allowed for trainees to go abroad as a clinical observer. So we come to the second topic, clinical attachment abroad during surgical training, which is the title of my talk today. Everyone knows that sending a resident abroad as a clinical observer during surgical training is another way of education and international collaboration. However, this type of study is debatable, in particular during surgical training. For some mentors, they argue that if they go abroad, the opportunity to develop surgical skills will be compromised. Anyway, at our hospital, our residents are encouraged to go abroad if they can afford it. So, to answer whether clinical attachment abroad is beneficial, I did a small survey based on residents at our hospital. Between 2008 and 2018, there were 14 residents trained under my supervision, and I interviewed them. The interview has been conducted in 2021, so it means that all residents now are pediatric surgeons with some experience. They don't have to please me, or in other words, they are honest to answer my questions. From 14 residents at that time, 11 out of 14 choose to go abroad during their surgical training. And pediatric surgical centers from USA, Europe, Asia, and Australia were asked for permission to send our residents to visit their hospital. To summarize, in USA and Canada, we sent the residents to Morgan Stanley Children's Hospital in New York, to Alberta Children's Hospital in Calgary. In Europe, we sent the residents to Hanover Medical School in Germany, and to Children's Hospital in Utrecht in the Netherlands. And for Australia, we are able to send our residents to Sydney Children's Hospital. And for Asia, we are able to send our residents to Beijing Children's Hospital and Queen Mary Hospital at the University of Hong Kong. Also, in Japan, we send the resident to Osaka Medical Center and Research Institute for Maternal and Child Health, and to Department of Pediatric Surgery, Kyoto Prefectural University of Medicine. And we send our resident to Shizuoka Children's Hospital and Kobe Children's Hospital. Actually, we plan to send our residents to Keio University School of Medicine and Juntendo University Hospital in 2020. However, due to COVID pandemic, all visits were canceled, unfortunately. After the interview, 9 of 11 residents who going abroad gave overall satisfaction rate as extremely satisfactory in terms of new knowledge gained compared with time and expense they spent at that time. And no one regrets that they made the wrong decision to go abroad instead of uh, being in Thailand and develop more skill on surgery. And Japan is the most popular country chosen among our residents. In the interview, I feel that every resident experienced numerous useful clinical practices abroad that had not been observed in Thailand at that time. For example, a huge variety of laparoscopic and open surgeries. And they learn the way of life, which is different, very different, the way of life of pediatric surgeons in those countries. And they learn the culture differences and learn the cultural shock. And apart from clinical attachment abroad, we encourage our residents to present their research project at the international meetings. For example, the WOFAPS meeting, the ASEAN meeting, Asia meeting, JSPS meeting, and Pediatric Surgical Research meeting. Once in a while, we are lucky enough to welcome the international world-renowned guests. They come to lecture, give a lecture. They come to do some surgery for us, and even sometimes they come to lead the ward round for our residents, which is very useful. We are lucky to organize the Congress of Asian Association of Pediatric Surgeons in Bangkok in 2008. And we participated in the World Congress of Surgery, Pediatric Surgery section in 2015. Everything seemed to be just fine until something happened, COVID pandemic. So we come to the third topic of my talk. What else can be done during the COVID pandemic? During the pandemic, all elective cases were canceled, as everyone knows. All clinical observership was postponed and finally prohibited. In 2020, we all concentrate on and concern on learning how this new disease affected our pediatric surgical practice and how to teach our medical students, our residents in a new way, online, Zoom, WebEx, and so on. And it is not until 2021 we now start thinking of finding a new way to connect with our international friends again. So another alternative of international collaboration should be initiated. Theoretically, it is not difficult, but it needs some commitments from key persons of each hospital. In Thailand, we have a regular inter-hospital meeting among 7 training centers every 2 months. And it's very academic and it's very, friendly and very fun to participate. Therefore, I would like to propose a small pilot project on a regular international inter-hospital seminar web meeting. So I would like to use this opportunity to invite the audience to join the International Inter-Hospital Web Meeting. Will be organized by the Association of Pediatric Surgeons of Thailand. The date is on Thursday, 26 August 2021 in the afternoon. The format will be the interesting case presentations followed by discussion. Or if you want me to join your any web meetings that you organize, we are happy to do so. And this is my contact email. This is my ideas of the concepts of web meeting that we are going to do. It should be a regular alternate host meeting, and the duration should not be too long. I think 2 or 3 hours is enough. The time differences between countries should be minimal. I mean, it should be in the same region, not in the different on the other side of the world. Right? That makes it quite difficult to follow. The format is interesting case presentation, and I hope residents should play a major role in the web meeting so they can develop the presentation skills and critical thinking process. And discussion and comments should be as a friends, not competitors or enemies. So we come to the last topic, clinical observership for international doctors, or how to be a clinical observer in my hospital or in Thailand. Generally, we welcome 4 to 6 international medical students per year, mostly from Europe, like Germany, Austria, France. We also welcome any foreign residents as a clinical observer as well. And this is the map of Chulalongkorn University. This is where the hospital is, and surrounding by shopping and entertainment complex. And there are SkyTrain and underground in front of the hospital. So the public transportation is excellent. This is how it looked like. This is the Chulalongkorn University Hospital. We have a single room for international visitors and a family room for international visitors in the middle of Bangkok City. So if anyone is interested in becoming a clinical observer in Thailand or in our hospital, easy, just contact me. I'm very happy to be your contact person. That's all I want to say. So in conclusions, ladies and gentlemen, clinical observership abroad is an invaluable educational adjunct during pediatric surgical training, I believe. And in the era of global uncertainty, regular international inter-hospital meeting has been proposed. And in the future, combination of clinical observership abroad and international web meeting may become a new normal for pediatric surgical training. And we welcome any foreign pediatric surgical residents as a clinical observer in my hospital or in Thailand. I'm very happy to be your contact person. So I would like to thank my mentors and supervisors for always supporting me, even now. And I would like to say thank you very much for friends and colleagues who took care of my residents. And I'm confident that in the future, they are still willing to take care of our residents as well. And last but not the least, to my residents who are now my wonderful colleagues. And thank you very much for your attention. I appreciate any questions or comments. Please, thank you very much.